kind of got taken a little bit, but in the grand scheme of things, I got what I needed to do the work that I needed, and karma will take care of itself as far as that's concerned. Good afternoon and welcome back to Boisterous Cock Farmstead. I'll try not to speak too loudly. My son is actually taking a nap right now, but I wanted to give an update. I told you guys I was going to be working on the dining room. I had already worked on the dining room, and I was going to be working on the living room here next. I know I didn't give an update on the dining room once I finished it because I was quickly moving things into that space so that I could work in the living room while my mom and her friend were out visiting. They left last week, and I was able to finish up the painting and mounting the ceiling fan after they left, but they were very helpful in allowing me to get up on this scaffolding and work on all the seams and everything around the top of the vaulted ceiling in here. So before we get started with that, if you would please smash that like button, share this video with others that you think might be interested in it, and if you haven't already, please click subscribe to our channel, and also click the bell notification so that you're notified of upcoming content when it gets released. Over here is where the work started. Had to come all the way down this wall here, get the ceiling done, get all the way around the mini split system. There is a window here, but right now I've got my egg fridge and the television moved over into this space, and I just got some drywall blocking that window so that there's not much glare. And then we come into the living room space here, and so we've got all the receptacles and face plates are in place, light switches are in place. Got LED bulbs with faux mason jar globes on the ceiling fan here. And I just bought these off of Amazon, so it's a little easier to know which one is which. So there's a little frosted light bulb and a little fan. So that will pretty much stay on, giving me some circulation. And it's only been a couple days, but it's actually been very helpful to have that fan circulating air. It makes it slightly cooler during the daytime when it kind of can get a little stagnant in here, but without the need of having to run the cool mode on the mini split. So you see over here, these are just this is leftovers from the food pickup. I mentioned in a previous episode that my neighbor actually has a connection with the food bank in town, and when food expires, they pick it up, and they've been gracious enough to allow me to come over and pick up all of the excess pretty much that they can't find anybody else to pick up. So that is like the third day's worth of, I pick it up on Monday, today's Wednesday. And so I have that for feeding tomorrow, but then tomorrow is another pickup day. So I never know how much is going to be. It's just kind of a bonus, and this helps me to cut back on my hay usage of what I throw out to my animals. They still get their the same amount of fermented grain in the morning, regardless of how much extra food I get from the food bank amount. So the review on this scaffolding, now that I've done the dining area and worked on the vaulted ceiling in here, and I am completely happy with it. I know there's going to be a few people who are not so comfortable with, you know, a little bit of play. It has a little bit of a rickety feel to it, but if you know that it's not going to collapse on you and you don't overcompensate your weight, and you just stand firm on the platform, you should be plenty fine. I actually did have one of these support rails here, which is the same as what's right here. I had that on one side, but with the height of my ceiling here, I was not able to turn it all the way around. So on these low spots here on the side, I went with the open end of the platform on this side, and then I had the tall side towards the middle of the room. Obviously that was before I put the ceiling fan up, but it also helped me I basically just sat on the very top of the platform, and it was very easy to hang this ceiling fan. Didn't have to, you know, worry about standing on a ladder or anything like that. So although it was a little bit of an investment, it was about $400 for both of the pieces of scaffolding. I would have had to have bought another ladder anyway, because the ladders that I have aren't tall enough to reach the top in the A-frame setting, in order to be able to do all of the mudding and taping and texturing and everything like that I needed to do in this room. So it saved me a lot of time. It definitely saved me from worrying about being injured, falling off or whatever, and the cost of the scaffolding was cheaper than going to the emergency room one time, not to mention the productivity I would have lost if I actually had injured myself trying to utilize lesser equipment to be able to perform the work that I need to do in here. And the upside is when I go work on our duplex eventually, that has a severe vaulted ceiling as well, so I'll be able to use this scaffolding over on that property in the future, in addition to exterior work that I may do on either this structure or on the duplex over there as well. So highly recommend this type of scaffolding, not necessarily this particular brand, because I don't know if I mentioned this when I first got this scaffolding, but the seller that I bought this from on Amazon, I think it was supposed to be a Metal Tech or a Man Tech. I'm not sure exactly which one. I'll put a little graphic in here once I look that up. But it's supposed to be one brand, and they basically drop shipped a different brand from Walmart, which I could have bought that one had I wanted to do that. So we came to an agreement based on the fact that I didn't want to have to deal with sending it all back. So I kind of got taken a little bit, but in the grand scheme of things, I got what I needed to do the work that I needed, and karma will take care of itself as far as that's concerned. So that's the update on the house right now. Here tomorrow on the 1st, it looks like my Asian pear tree is starting to blossom out. Tomorrow the 1st, my wife and my son are going up to Montana to visit some family up there. So I will have over a week here to myself. So I'm going to try to focus on some of the harder to work on and live in type of projects while they're gone, and hopefully I can bang out one or two of those, but we'll just have to see. But that's the update for the house for now, and I'll do a quick little rundown of the update outside here. So I was looking looking out from the window in the living room there, and these things have just pretty much exploded in the last couple days. So that's really encouraging. I think there's four different Asian pear varieties on this particular tree. So spring is springing. So we'll come over here and check on my transplant trees. I actually got 4 more that were replacement trees yesterday, and it was from the Bloomington, I think it was Four Seasons Nursery or whatever, Bloomington, Illinois. And they looked like they were pretty much burnt up, so I don't expect them to really do much of anything. But we do have some activity here. We've got this little hazelnut tree is starting to bud out. We've got some softened buds on some of these. This one here's a nectarine, starting to get fuzzy. The sugar pear is starting to get new little nodes on it. Same with this almond tree, and my little Japanese shade tree Katsura. That one's got little leaves down at the bottom there. So we should have the trees that wintered over here in my chicken tractor. I've yet to see any activity there, so if there's not any activity here in the next week or two, then those probably did not survive transplantation, which is also from the Bloomington, Illinois nurseries. So not too happy with them. I was telling my wife that although they do have a guarantee, basically the way that their guarantee works is if your tree dies within the first year, you could send it in for a replacement. But then they're gonna say if they send you crappy ones in the first place, they're just gonna send you crappy ones the second time. So, you know, I would say just save your money. But in talking to my wife, I was like, it reminds me of the line from Tommy Boy, something along the lines of, I could take a crap in a box and slap a guarantee on it, and all I did was sell you a guaranteed piece of crap. They can guarantee, and I'm sure that they're running some sort of an insurance replacement that might be lining their pockets a little bit more than it is servicing the customers. But I would say from what I've seen, the quality is just not there to really spend any kind of money with them in the future. So I've got a couple other, I would say Willis Orchards is probably, that's my favorite that I've dealt with. I think they're out of Cartersville, Georgia, which if that's the case, go Jags. Trevor Lawrence, #1. There's your Cartersville, Georgia tie-in there. And then the other one is Stark Brothers. But I haven't seen much activity out of the Stark Brother trees that I got in the fall, early winter or something like that. So I can't really say on them. They don't look like they're totally dead, but at the same time, they're not really showing any new growth or anything either. So jury's still out on them. And then the last update that I'll give today is actually a pig update about my boar. This is my main boar here, and I don't think I mentioned this in any of my previous videos. I've got him isolated here in what was my finishing pen for my market hogs, and the reason I've got him in here is he's close to water, shelter, and then when I feed him, it's just right here. It's just right here nearby. So somehow or another, he has injured his front right leg, and I don't know the details or what caused it, but he was over with the 2 Duroc girls, and it's possible that my larger Duroc female may have stepped on him, bit him or something to that effect, or he may have hurt himself trying to mount her and getting off or whatever in that whole process. So I'm keeping an eye on him. I noticed it last week, and when it looked like he was favoring his leg a little bit more, because at first it started out as a limp, then he started really not wanting to put any weight on it, and then one day he didn't come out to eat, so that was the day that I moved him to a different enclosure, but was still too much area for him to roam around in. And so I took the 2 little girls that I was trying to grow out, or just kind of catch them up for my main herd. They had been in this the sun there. They had been in this area here so that I could feed them some fermented grain, and they're caught up, I think, well enough that they can be back out into the main herd there. And so that's what I did, is I moved them out there and I pulled him in to this area here, and then kind of moved everybody back to where they were. So the net result is I got 1 boar out of the Duroc area into the market finishing pen, and then the 2 that were in the market pen went over into the main herd. So a little bit of jockeying to move certain pigs through certain pens that other pigs were in. So I had to kind of get a little creative and feed at the right times and motivate them to move in the areas that or move to the areas that I wanted them to move to. But we got where we needed to be. One additional resource, or potential resource here, of getting all of the produce that we've been getting, is we end up with a lot of cardboard boxes from the produce. So I need to find a good repeatable solution for that, and I think I know what I want to do, but I'm holding off on that until at least this next week, because my time, I feel, is best spent working on the house, on those hard tasks or hard projects when I have my son around, or if my wife and my son are around, and using certain spaces for family time and everything like that. So with them gone, I can kind of batch it up, as they say, and I can get some stuff done. And if I need to, I can actually stay out in the trailer so that I can move stuff around and leave it in a disheveled space until the next day of work or whatever. So that's the update here, closing out March. And as I get some stuff done, I'll try to get some footage of the work that I'm doing, but I'm really going to be focused on hammering out this work. So I may or may not post over the next week or week and a half, so that I can get that stuff done. And hopefully you guys are following along on the progress of the house, and that you guys are enjoying seeing what we're experiencing. And it'll be really nice when it finally is a fully done, fully finished house, whenever that might be. As always, thanks for joining us, and God bless.